I'd like you to welcome to the stage Amashuwi, or Inked.
July 16, 2015. Popular Zambian musician Clifford Dimba was sentenced to 18 years in prison for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. He was only convicted because of a short partnership with the US crime lab. Then, he was pardoned by Zambia's current president and appointed an ambassador of women and child rights. We are Inked. We are tackling the problem of sexual assault in Zambia, and we aim to empower young girls with a product that will identify perpetrators of sexual assault. Hello. We are Charlie, Change, and Anuhia. We are an interdisciplinary team from public health, social work, and psychology. Why Zambia? Well, besides it being the beautiful country of my birth and my family's heritage, we collectively have experience working and living in Zambia and working on public health and education. And why sexual assault? Because we asked. We surveyed young girls, teachers, nurses, and other local stakeholders, and time again, sexual assault was the key issue that came up. We conducted over 100 interviews with these girls and local stakeholders, and key themes that came from this process were a lack of reporting and victim blaming. And one Zambian girl told us that, "I wouldn't tell anyone if it happened to me because nothing would happen. No one listens to girls. Men get to do anything they want." And this again really reflects the culture of victim blaming and a lack of reporting. We also spoke with the Victim Support Unit, a special unit of the Zambian police, and they talked about how the difficulty in prosecuting cases of sexual assault is due to a lack of evidence. Less than 10% of cases in Zambia are prosecuted. And because of this, a police officer told us that in Zambia, we don't have the capacity to test DNA. The only people who report sexual assault are those that have a pregnancy and are juvenile. And so to address this gap in evidence, our solution is Get Inked.
So our solution is based on all of the interviews that we did, and we are leveraging existing technology to create a product, a wearable personal safety device that will provide additional evidence for police to use in prosecuting cases of sexual assault. The way this device works, well, when it's activated by either pressure, for example, grabbing the wrist where the device is located, or if the user activates it, it sprays ink onto the perpetrator, staining their skin and their clothing. The device is a small, flat device. It has this permanent ink that is inside of it that sprays. It lasts for up to 2 weeks on the skin, and it stains the clothing permanently. Actually, this ink, it already exists. It's being used in banks and ATMs to stain stolen money. Our device can also be worn anywhere on the body. From our first preliminary test, we've found that it works really well on the wrist and pinned to the clothing on the torso, also worn as a necklace. Traditionally in Zambia, people wear talismans around their wrists, around their necks to protect them from harm from other people, which means that our product fits pretty well into the cultural norms that are already there. As far as the competition, there's actually not much in Zambia. There are a few things on the market here in the US, but they're not cost accessible. They have a lot of technological things that you have to have in place in order for them to work. And they're also not compatible with other low infrastructure issues in Zambia and places that are similar. Also different from these other products, we hope that ours becomes a deterrent. So a bracelet accompanies the device, and we hope that when people see girls wearing this bracelet, they will think twice about assaulting this girl, knowing that she will have the ability to speak out against her attacker. As for evidence, we really hope that our product will become a toolbox in of larger tools that can be used for police to prosecute perpetrators of sexual assault. Earlier, we heard a quote from a Zambian girl that said, "No one listens to girls." We hope that the ink spray patterns will support their testimonies and allow them to finally be heard. After designing this product, we took it back to our users, and we found that 91% of the people that we interviewed said that they would use and wear this product. We also talked again to the victim support unit of the Zambian police. They said that they would welcome the use of this product as another tool for them to prosecute people in sexual assault cases. To us, this says that we already have a pretty solid customer base that wants our product.
So, how will this work in reality? Over the past 6 months, we've been developing partnerships with NGOs and governmental agencies. These have become an important part of our business plan. After getting a provisional patent, we'll sell our product directly to NGOs who'll work as distributors. They'll distribute the product to high school girls by providing it to their schools. Already, one NGO, Care International, is interested in buying our product if the cost is kept to under $10 per unit. Our pilot will start in the capital city of Lusaka, targeting one high school in a community where the rates of sexual assault are high among schoolgirls. From there, we'll expand to other high schools and provinces where Care International and the Victim Support Unit already operate. Our current potential market is 1.5 million high school girls. This market will become even bigger as we expand to other age groups by shifting to a direct-to-consumer model. There's also room to expand to other countries where a lack of evidence is a struggle in sexual assault cases. This is a graph of our projected sales. By the end of 2019, we hope to reach over 3,000 users. Through our partnership with Agents of Change Foundation Zambia, we'll advertise our product through inexpensive radio ads. We'll also advertise it through a weekly talk show that the Victim Support Unit already hosts. Additionally, through our partnership with the National Women's Soccer Team, we'll launch a social media campaign using women's soccer players. We use this strategy because it's a low-cost, high-impact way to get the word out to users. Through your help, we can make a lot of progress in 2 years.
In the time that it took to do this pitch, 5 Zambian girls have been sexually assaulted. One sexual assault is too many, and many of the perpetrators will walk away with little to no consequences. We hope that you will see the urgency of this problem, but also the potential and the solution that our potential customers have seen in us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is amazing. It's really thoughtful. It's the business plan around it is really impressive. I want to ask a question or two about some of the ramifications of wild success. Wild success in a scenario, though, where interesting and emotional and hugely unpredictable things happen during a struggle. It's not likely, I think, that the victim is going to be the only one that's inked. And what kind of repercussions, if any, does that have for the person who would have been the victim?
So you're asking if the victim were to also be inked?
Yes.
Well, currently, victims are quite stigmatized on their own. After the assaults happen, they usually hide, and we don't think that the cost of having something like an ink stain on the girl outweighs the benefit of her being able to tell a story with the ink pattern.
I guess what I'm getting at is it's another label, though. So all of a sudden, the young woman has been, labeled by the ink as someone who has been the victim of a predator. Is that good, bad, or indifferent in terms of her development, her growth, her, and how people respond to her as she moves on?
Yeah. So we actually did a survey. We went back to the users and we asked them if they would prefer invisible or not invisible ink. And a lot of them did prefer invisible ink. So we're still in the prototyping phase. So if that's something that people are more comfortable with, we'll definitely think about that.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you. Excuse me. Thank you for your presentation. It was excellent. So I happen to like things that are unfamiliar, and this is unfamiliar to me and makes me a little uncomfortable, but also and gets me to think about it. So I have a thought, and Please feel free, any one of you, to comment on it. I agree 100%. I think the entire room would agree 100% that one is too many. But I'm wondering, as I think about it, that one is too many, to solve the problem or attempt to solve the problem by asking or having potential victims have to wear a bracelet doesn't seem to address the root cause of the problem. So then I thought, like, doesn't, just because a woman or a male or whoever is wearing a certain kind of outfit or dress doesn't mean that they should be subjected to this type of inappropriate, outrageous, illegal behavior. So we're creating a product, a device, as a deterrent, but are we really addressing the root cause of the problem?
Well, first of all, in Zambia, sex is a taboo topic, so you can imagine that sexual assault is even more taboo. So, speaking to like the women's soccer team, to even begin to have that conversation would be a big part of, not necessarily empowering the girl, empowering the victim. And we talk a lot about, yes, it would be something that she can choose to wear, but also she can choose to hide it. Some of what we found out in our survey is some girls would prefer to have something that's hidden, that people wouldn't see. So that's another option. But also I think definitely that conversation of sexual assault and even sex in a country where people still believe that having sex with a virgin can cure AIDS is necessary, and it's something that NGOs like Care International are recognizing.
And in terms of targeting the root cause, we have thought a lot about education. And one of the gaps is also that during education around sexual assault, men and boys aren't targeted. So that's something that we've been thinking about a lot too. And we would be interested in branching out if it's possible.
Right, we're kind of using our product as an entry point into the topic, and we hope to expand towards prevention with some of our educational campaigns that are coupled with our products, especially leveraging the partnership with the Zambia national soccer teams.
And in addition, you talk about it may not just being a deterrent, but in Zambia and many places around this issue, even that it being a symbol of a deterrent is powerful. And we often use the example of often people have like Brink's home security system, but they don't really have it, but it scares people away because it's like, oh, there's a security system. So we're hoping that even like the male soccer team will get involved and have, bracelet or whatever to say we support this cause and it's important.
I guess a question that I have, well, I think it's amazing that you guys were able to travel to Zambia and do 100 interviews. Like, that's awesome. And that also you have nonprofits that will be able to help you with your distribution strategy. But was wondering, like, as you get bigger, like, does anyone from your team plan on moving to Zambia to make sure it goes in the right direction?
Anything else?
And actually, to add on to that,
Okay.
I think one thing that we're most excited about with our project is that we recognize that this is not a Zambian issue alone, and the gap in the market right now for a developing country, it's a huge gap. And so we recognize that within the SADC, Southern African region, and other places around the world, there's this potential for growth where they may not be able to GPS and send their location, but if they have something like ink, it's like visible, they can see. So that's another thing. We may not go to Zambia, we may go somewhere else. So, thank you.